1700, Estonia stands at a crossroads. Within 2 decades, war and plague reduced Tallinn's population by 80%, reshape its governance, and transform the Baltic trade network forever. Fortress cities, rural farms, and bustling harbors will all feel the pressure of armies, occupation, and disease. The first shock comes at Narva. Swedish defenders repel the advancing Russian army in November 1700, securing a temporary respite. Yet, by 1702, Russian forces pressed deeper into Estonian territory. Swedish commanders routinely empty bakeries to feed garrisons, leaving citizens with dwindling supplies. Grain costs double in Tallinn markets, and fish once affordable now sells at triple the normal price. Trade routes connecting towns and ports intermittently close, and residents huddle in homes, rationing what remains. Barrels of salted fish, sacks of rye, and the occasional cart of timber, still destined for Swedish ports. Soldiers patrol gates, their presence both protection and threat. Farms within 10 miles of Tallinn face systematic raids. Livestock, up to 60% in some villages, is seized, and barns are burned to deny resources to approaching Russian forces. Manors, sometimes centuries old, are occupied or torched. Smoke rises from fields once rich with rye and barley, leaving a patchwork of ruin and survival. Peasants dig shallow caches to hide seed grain. Carpenters reinforce doors with salvaged wood, and families hide in marshes while soldiers trample surrounding forests. Nature itself becomes both refuge and hazard. Rivers serve as lifelines. Timber and grain move cautiously along waterways, guarded by armed vessels. Fishermen navigate currents patrolled by soldiers, while reports of approaching armies travel faster than carts can carry them. Even the landscape, the forests, rivers, and marshes, shifts between sanctuary and battlefield. Tartu feels the war in subtler, persistent ways. Markets shrink, grain prices triple from pre-war levels, bread loaves weigh less. Merchants mark wares with red ink to indicate scarcity. Students at the university attend fewer lectures, fearful of soldiers patrolling the streets. Taverns echo with whispered rumors of conscription and raids. Yet life continues. Artisans hammer nails for repairs, bakers stretch flour to feed the few families still in the city, and midwives deliver children despite the uncertainty outside their doors. Every daily act becomes a small assertion of resilience. In 1710, plague sweeps through Tallinn's old town, devastating a population already weakened by siege and scarcity. Thousands perish within weeks. The Swedish garrison, depleted by desertion and disease, can barely man the walls. Russian forces encamp beyond the harbor, waiting. Mass graves appear outside city gates. Entire streets fall silent. By September, when Tallinn finally surrenders, fewer than 2,000 inhabitants remain from a population that had once numbered 10,000. Grain stocks are nearly exhausted, and salt and timber are rationed. The Baltic trade shifts under Russian control. Elsewhere, Narva endures repeated sieges, its fortifications repaired only to be shelled again. Swedish occupation emphasizes fortification and local governance, while Russian control imposes stricter requisitions, new taxes, and a permanent garrison. Families adjust to each regime. Peasants navigate the rules for taxes and labor. Merchants learn which markets remain open, and local officials balance compliance with survival. Roads are filled with supply convoys, militia patrols, and refugees seeking safer ground. Population declines across the countryside are stark. Some villages lose 40% of residents to war, famine, or plague. Fields once tilled for rye and barley lie fallow, and timber exports decline by half. Despite hardship, people find ways to endure. Families cultivate small plots of potatoes and turnips to supplement meager stores. Blacksmiths craft nails and tools for reconstruction. Local markets open sporadically to trade eggs, smoked fish, or wooden utensils. Each act of daily life is a quiet act of resistance against chaos. Estonian towns and cities physically bear the war's scars. Walls are repaired, cannon emplacements rebuilt, burned manors reconstructed. Tallinn's old town sees timber framing replaced with stone in many buildings, while Narva fortifications expand under Russian rule. Streets once narrow and crowded now feature temporary military barracks. These changes leave lasting marks, reshaping both the skyline and the rhythm of daily life for decades to come. The Treaty of Nystad in 1721 cements Estonia under Russian sovereignty. Taxes, legal codes, and governance shift once more. Trade gradually recovers. Ports reopen, though many routes now carry Russian timber rather than Swedish grain. The war's decades-long imprint on population, economy, and urban form is clear. By 1725, Tallinn's rebuilt harbor processes Russian timber rather than Swedish grain. Streets bear the echoes of sieges and plague, yet merchants and artisans move through them again. The city's skyline shows repaired walls, new barracks, and reconstructed manors. Estonia has endured conquest, disease, and upheaval, emerging altered but alive. The landscape of forests, rivers, and fortified cities tells the story of a land transformed, where survival, adaptation, and human ingenuity shape the future. If this journey through Estonia's early 18th century brought history to life, like this video and leave a comment. Which event surprised you most? Follow us for more explorations where the past comes alive through the stories of cities, towns, and people who endured it.